Metaverse and the Future of Entertainment.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here this morning. I hope you're having an incredible show here at AIBC. I know we're early morning. We had a lot of good fun times last night. So welcome to one of the best panels of the morning, in my opinion. This is an incredible topic. I mean, the metaverse is, you know, it's a buzzword. It's all the hype right now. But we're going to break down for you what we believe is the real use cases of the metaverse and the future of it, and a few real-life examples of what's actually happening right now as we speak in the evolution of this incredible movement. So my name is Megan Nilsson. I go by Crypto Megan. I'm a high-end crypto and NFT consultant, and I'm currently on a world tour to educate about this very topic, about Web3 and crypto, and to advocate for women. And I'm so excited to host this panel of all-stars, and I'm telling you, they have some incredible things to share with you today. I was talking with them backstage. It's going to be awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to allow my all-star panelists to introduce themselves, and we'll get right into it.
Hi guys, my name is Mahiar, and I'm a CEO and co-founder of ROYA. So what we do at ROYA, we try to remove the barriers and become the bridge from Web 2 to Web 3. Basically, what we do is gamifying your everyday habits.
Amazing, thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you very much to AIBC and Sigma for organizing this amazing event. I'm really humbled to be with all of you. I'm Patrice Poujol, the CEO of Lumiere. We're a Web3 solution company that focuses on movies, animations, TV series. We're backed by Rolling Stone and Animoca brands. And we're very happy to bring a new generation of adoption and audiences into the Web3 by bringing experiences and a sense of metaverse unity engagement for audiences so they can participate in the films, the animations, and the TV series. And we really need people like Mahiar as well to bring us from Web 2 to Web 3 and all the other speakers.
Yes, thank you.
What's going on, guys? Afternoon. My name is Samuel. I'm a tech entrepreneur from New York. As you can see, my picture is not up there. Last minute changes. But
you're welcome to this panel. Very welcome.
Thank you. Formerly at TikTok, so I just left so I can work on a smart digital business card that will be run, in the metaverse. This is super exciting, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds.
Thank you.
My name's Paul Dawalibi. People more commonly know me as the Prophet. I've spent the last 2.5 decades investing in tech companies, building tech companies. About 4 or 5 years ago, I decided to focus only on gaming and metaverse. I host a show on CNBC, the biggest show in the region on gaming and metaverse and the business side of it on CNBC called 𝐒𝐭𝐸, which everyone should watch. And just came out with my first metaverse book called Metaverse Dream, which everyone should go buy.
Wow, thank you so much. There you have it, a very diverse panel at that with a lot of different backgrounds. So we're going to give you a lot of amazing insights today. I wanted to kick off this session with kind of like the definition of what the metaverse is and how that's going to allow us to evolve and level up entertainment, right? Like, for example, I have one experience that I just did. I hosted the red carpet of a fashion show, a New York fashion show. It was a mirror image of the real life in the metaverse, and there was portals in the physical world to talk to us in the metaverse. So it was absolutely incredible, and my one kind of like check of, is this accessible, is my dad showed up. So it was that easy. It was easy enough for a boomer to show up into the room and interact with us, and people from Hong Kong were there and all over the world experiencing this fashion show live in real time. So that to me was like, wow, this is what it's supposed to be. In my opinion, one of the definitions could be like a seamless bridge between the physical and the digital world. So I'm really excited to see what you all have to say about this and what you think needs to happen in the evolution of the metaverse to get more adoption. But first, we'll start with kind of your definition and a few like real life examples that you have of use cases in the metaverse.
I think anything that's called metaverse, parallel universe, multiverse, could be anything from gaming or entering a world to meet and socialize, or fashion show like Megan mentioned. There is so many different things, but anything that's basically in the physical world can be turned into a digital world, in my opinion, right? But there is one thing that we all have to remember. Not everyone out there have a Web3 knowledge of how to open a wallet, how to use, how to swap the coin to Ethereum, VHT, or whatever barriers there is. I think the first thing we need to focus on is removing the barriers so the boomers can really enter and experience what we can see is coming in the future. And I think when comparability is in place, where we can move from one platform to the other platform seamlessly, I think that would be like the boom of the metaverse.
Absolutely. Interoperability is going to be key. We still don't have it. We're in the very beginning phases, as you're describing, and one of your jobs is to help that bridge the gap, right? So absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, let's go on to the future, other definitions. And if you could give us some like real life use cases of you. I know we were talking about something really interesting backstage.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be brief about the definition because it's like a moving target at the moment. I mean, what is the metaverse? I mean, it's been interchangeably used between Web3 and metaverse, which are two things that are quite different. I think it's better not to limit the term. I mean, we were talking about it backstage. Exactly, is Instagram a form of metaverse, like you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many forms of metaverse.
Yeah.
We don't need to even delve into the, you know.
I mean, for me, the thing is the interactivity, the immersion, a persistent world where people can exchange, unite, communicate wherever they are in the world, and perhaps show a slightly better and less limiting form of internet than the Web 2. I mean, if we can get that, at least, it wouldn't be too bad, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, I completely agree. But you know, the key is creating immersive experiences for the users, right? You got to know who your target audience is. But most importantly, people are afraid of this new technology. They don't have that knowledge yet. So it's better if their friends are already using it. That way they can tell it, you know, word of mouth, rather than, you know, trying to push it on people and they're not ready for it.
It's a good question. I can't answer what the metaverse is. I can actually. But I can tell you what it's absolutely not. It has nothing to do with Web3. It has nothing to do with crypto. It has nothing to do with any of those things. The metaverse can and will exist without Web3, without crypto, without blockchain, without any of those technologies, without any of those buzzwords. The metaverse is a fancy word for gaming. That's what it is. The adults in the room decided that gaming wasn't cool enough for investors. It was something only kids did. And metaverse was much easier to pitch to investors. It's gaming and the gamification of our reality. And I've inhabited metaverses for the last 2 decades. I'm a hardcore World of Warcraft gamer. You want my use case? This is the greatest metaverse ever created to date. There's millions of people still to date in World of Warcraft. No one's using Sandbox. No one's using Decentraland. No one's using all these crappy Web3 metaverses. And my core philosophy around this is because they're not fun. And I'm just like, I just have a question, because I was like understanding the room. Who here, raise your hand high if you've been to any metaverse at all.
Yes, I really want to know this as well. Amazing. This
Okay,
is more,
hang on, leave your hand up if you've been to a metaverse. Leave your hand up if you had fun there. Leave your hand up if you had so much fun you went back again. Okay, this is the problem. And this is why when we talk about future of entertainment, this is what we need to solve. No one went back. There was not a single hand up.
Yeah, I think we're going to open this up to a debate now, because I really like that you have a much, you know, different view than everybody else, and actually it all intertwines. I think crypto and you know, the whole Web3 movement is a layer, an additional layer to the metaverse. But yeah, the metaverse is an immersive space where we're supposed to be able to level up this entertainment in some way, shape, or form, right? So I would love to hear from you guys what you think about what he said, and actually what you think the metaverse can be used for other than just gaming. But gaming is an excellent example, and that is, what, in my opinion, what's going to bring a lot of mass adoption.
I think gaming is absolutely leading that space by far. But I agree with you. It's not fun, it's boring, it's hacking, it's not really an experience. And that's because they didn't really spend anything on user experience and making that really interactive for people to really get into it. And the VR is not in place with them, so it's a little bit, it's not there yet. But I think in the future, metaverse will create jobs, will create businesses. I think when businesses understand how to use the blockchain technology, because we have to separate this crypto and blockchain, it's two different things, in my opinion. When that happens, it would be an avalanche with businesses getting into, using the NFTs, using the metaverses. So I think a lot of job creation will come with metaverse in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrice?
I go along what you're saying. I mean, it's a work in progress, right? So Second Life, if you take it, gaming, one thing that's fundamental though, and that I think, you know, from what you said was missing, is ownership. If you are a World of Warcraft buff and you buy something, if World of Warcraft closes tomorrow, you lose everything, right?
Yeah, and
If you play in
care.
a sandbox and you have created an asset, because you can create an asset and you own it, no one takes it away from you unless your MetaMask wallet is hacked, obviously. But that's a big difference, I think.
This is, I think, almost maybe not the #1 mistake, but probably the #2 mistake crypto people make when they talk about gaming, that they think ownership is high on the list of priorities for people from a psychological standpoint, from a desirability standpoint. And I can tell you, again, for decades, people have, I always tell this story in World of Warcraft. There's a mount you can get. It's an animal, it's white, it's called a frost saber mount. To get it, you have to do the same quest 1,200 times over. And it takes about an hour to do it each time. I did this. I loved it. I had so much fun doing it. I don't own that mount. I have an NFT of it, and I don't care. And most people, for decades now, who have been gamers, don't care about ownership. It's just not high on the list of drivers of what gets people to come back. Fun is. If it's fun, no one cares that they don't own it.
I will say something to that. I do believe that technology in itself, in its essence, was created to bring joy, right? That is the actual goal of technology. So I agree with you there. And there is a lot of resistance from the gaming community as far as ownership.
And I don't want people to misunderstand. I think the metaverse will have applications outside of pure entertainment, like banking, or like, you know, I'm working with half a dozen government agencies in Dubai on metaverse strategy and how they're thinking about it. But I still think I stick to my guns on fun has to be the reason. So if you're going to do banking in the metaverse, it has to be fun. Right. Otherwise, there's no point to do it there.
Yeah, it's to enhance your experience, right? To make it a more enjoyable experience. So I want to shift this topic of conversation to use cases, because I think that so many people in the audience don't even have aren't aware of how many things we can actually do in the metaverse. And you brought up a point. Did you have fun? Well, it depends on your goal. If you're going into the metaverse to have fun, that's one thing. But let's say, for example, Kia is selling cars in the metaverse with a bot by ChatGPT that's helping answer all your questions and showing you these cars in this immersive digital way that's really awesome, and it's working. So I want to shift this conversation to what are some of the use cases you guys see in entertainment and even in things around entertainment in the metaverse?
I think concerts is one of the, it's happening, a lot of celebrities doing concerts. You have real estate in the metaverse use cases that people are buying, selling real estate. You have the social impact of it. You have the gaming. They trading their assets. They meet up. They have meetups. I think sports are coming into it more and more, so they can meet up and have doing different sports with each other, like Meta is working on. I mean, there is so many different ones, but I think what I see is real estate is really booming in this space to tokenize buildings and getting it into metaverse. You can walk in, you can see, okay, I'm buying this, what is the view, and so on and so on.
Yeah, and Patrice, you and I talked about, you were discussing financing. I'd really like to hear more about that.
Yeah, see, I'm pretty much along the line of what you said. Agreed, fun is paramount, right? No jokes. That's why Second Life didn't quite make it, right? On the other end, I wouldn't be so fast about discarding ownership, particularly for people who are working as artists and creators. Because if you're working at the moment as an artist and a creator, somebody can take your work and off you go and take all the exploitative benefit from it. Whereas in the internet we're trying to build all together here, you have an actual economic system, which is not perfect yet, needs to be worked out, totally agree. But one thing we did, for example, was there was a film about Kenzo Takada, the man who essentially revolutionized fashion. He's got nothing to be envious about Andy Warhol. I mean, he was the Andy Warhol of Asia, basically. He's the man who basically made the catwalk what they are today compared to what they used to be. You don't want to see what they used to be. Anyway, we decided to back this project. We brought a metaverse experience to the film. We didn't try to reproduce a game of the narrative of the film. We just created a different experience, the House of 𝐭𝐨𝐬𝐬. We had 3,000 people coming into Decentraland on the day. 3,000 people. In a few hours, we sold all the NFTs between between the Celsius crash and FTX. So it was a success. The film got financed, and the film is in production now, and it's going to come out in one of your whatever favorite platform, Web2 platform. I agree. We're in a hybrid world at the moment, but it worked. That's my point. It's very early ages, but if you want to engage people, you have to find an angle, but it can work. And we did it on Unity, so it's clearly not, you know, we're not on Call of Duty here, but it worked and it's still around, and people are still connected, and they can buy and sell the digital asset, or they can just learn about Kenzo Takada and what he's done to the world. And I think this is an interesting angle, because you can really federate an audience if you're producing films, for example, or animation. And I'm sure you could probably do that for other verticals in entertainment.
Absolutely, yeah, a more immersive experience where they can have joy and fun in participating in the purchasing of these assets and learning more about brands in a kind of like a way that they could never do before. Sure.
You spoke about joy, right? Is anybody ever having fun by themselves, or is it more better having fun with your friends, right? People you know, a community. That's one of the most important things, right? Having a community of like-minded individuals that you can have fun with and create with. Now, also on the topic of joy, I'm not sure if you guys know about the Tamagotchi generation, where you're able to have, it's called virtual kids, parenthood, like it's the future of parenthood. Now imagine a woman who cannot have a baby can now have a kid in the metaverse, right? Be able to nurture and speak to other mothers who also have kids in the metaverse, where they can all have fun together. You know, those little things bring joy to people's family.
Absolutely. Joy is what it's all about, making it fun. So back to Mr. Making It Fun. Use cases. One real-life use case, maybe in your area of expertise, that you think could actually add value by using the metaverse.
For other than gaming, you mean? I mean, I've like I said, I've been spending time with a bunch of government agencies here in Dubai, everything from healthcare to banks to you name it. As long as the fun is always the killer app, I think all of these things can be made better, can be made more immersive, can be made more accessible even to certain sections of people. I think, look, if we define metaverse as gaming, we're talking about virtually unlimited use cases. I think gaming will be the biggest industry on the planet by, multiple orders of magnitude. So it will touch everything. Education, I gave a talk a few weeks ago on the intersection of metaverse and education, how learning through play is so effective, especially in an immersive environment.
I like that, learning from playing, because that can apply to all fields, all expertises, even every brand. You can learn and play at the same time, and that's what makes the metaverse so, incredible. And so just to touch on final thoughts here, what I see is that this immersive experience is going to allow additional layer to build an amazing community building tool. I mean, we're going to be able, brands and companies and anybody who's actually working on events in there is going to be able to build great community, give more joy to their users in this immersive experience that needs to be accessible. It needs to be easy for people to be able to join on their phones even if they want to, in my opinion, and that way we'll get everybody involved and they can meet their friends there and have a great time. I'm just going to pass it around. Final closing sentences on maybe if you touch on what you think the future will be in the metaverse and what we're going to see in the coming years and where we can find you on social media and where people can get in touch with you afterward.
I think the future looks very bright in terms of creating job, finances, gaming. Every sector can be implemented, I think, into a metaverse. But also the physical interaction would be less because people have so easy access to get into meetings. I can be in a meeting in Japan. I can reach to any finance company. I can watch any real estate. So I think the physical interactions will be less, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But the metaverse will reach to a level where it's accessible to everyone, and anything you need in any sector, I don't think it's limited to anything. Anything in any sector you want. Look at it this way: when you want to buy clothing, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, you can enter into their websites, right? So I always say metaverse is websites on steroids.
I like that. Website on steroids. Awesome.
And you guys can find us at ROYA Edition on any social media and look us up. And my name is Mahiar.
Amazing. Thank you.
Well, I'd say it's a chance. You know, we've got a chance. Internet, Web 1, Web 2 was pretty much created unilaterally in English, by the way. Why aren't we just creating a Web 3 for the entire world this time? And I think that's what's coming out. China, we're working with Meta 12, for example. They are launching next week. It's Chinese. There's a regionalization because there is a connection between the virtual world sometimes and the physical world. If you're in Guangzhou, in China, you want to be able to access the Guangzhou station, and who's best to build that? The Chinese person, right?
Yeah.
So it's very exciting to see that and how this is composed all around the world in a decentralized fashion. And I think there's maybe an angle of soft power here, but there is an angle also of multiculturality, which I really like, by the way, wherever you are from. You can access us from Lumiere. It's Lumiere project.io or Looming Project on Twitter. Very happy to talk with you and build this new version of internet together.
Thank you.
The future is inevitable, and all we need to have is a paradigm shift. You can find me at LinkedIn at Samuel F.
Yes, I love that paradigm shift. That's exactly what we're doing. We're in the midst of a paradigm shift, of a revolution, right?
Yeah, I think I like the word inevitable. I think if you have kids in the room, your kids are probably going to spend 10 years of their life plugged into a metaverse or a game of some kind. And if you look at sort of human history, the one trend as an investor that I'm particularly excited about is human beings have more and more leisure time than ever. This is consistent over the last few thousand years. And what will fill that leisure time, in my opinion, is gaming and metaverse. This will be the dominant form of entertainment over the next 2 decades. And if you ask me what the metaverse will look like over those 2 decades, I called my company Holodeck. If you're a Star Trek nerd, you will get the reference, but I think Holodeck is where humanity is going.
I love that. I love all the diverse opinions. In the end, we need diversity, inclusion, interoperability, and joy, fun. So if you have a company or a brand, you should be thinking right now how you can implement this strategy in your company, brand, or game so that you can level up the entertainment and the joy. Thank you all so much. This was an amazing panel. Thank you for being here.
Megan, can I, before you leave, can I ask one question? Because I think it's something you raised, Paul. I think it's for me, very interesting. When you said people don't care about ownership, that may be true in gaming, but I'm going back to, okay, in 2012, 13, it was a question raised by Bruce Willis, and he took on Apple at the time because he's like, I want to leave my iTunes to my children. And while people don't necessarily want to leave their gaming, you know, you were talking about Chanel, you were talking about, let's just say for sports, if people collect, you know, people collect digital things for teams and stuff like that. These are things people want to leave to their children, to other people, the way they would in real life. So I'm really struggling to wholly buy what you're saying about ownership.
Here's the rub. People spend $200 million a month on Fortnite skins that they don't own. I don't think many of these 12-year-olds are sitting in front of that screen going, geez, you know, I wish I could leave this to my kids.
But that's what I'm saying. I said, put gaming aside. We're talking about the future of the entertainment, which I'm not sure I agree with you that it's just gaming.
I'm not saying ownership doesn't matter at all. It's just on the list of priorities in terms of people's psychology. It's low.
But I would say that ownership is the definition of Web3. It's value.
Absolutely.
It's a transmission
this
of value.
This is why I think Metaverse and Web3 have nothing to do with each other.
I didn't want to touch on this deeper because it is a Metaverse panel.
Oh, I like the touch paper, no problem.
I mean,
you know, on the language thing, I would say 𝐒𝐿𝐻𝐻 𝐿𝐻.
Yes. I mean, I mean,
Soon
honestly,
St. Patrick's Day, Irish Day.
actually, 2
Let's
days.
see,
I
talking
ju-
about
Yeah,
multiple
sorry, I'm Irish, so.
Just look at, sorry, even in gaming, just look at Fortnite. My kids spend a ton on skins on Fortnite, okay? If they could keep and sell the original ones from the beginning, they would make a fortune today.
Yeah.
But no, Fortnite is taking everything.
So it's a
because that's what-
collectible as well.
So I think it's important in gaming also to own your assets.
Yeah.
even if you're not aware of it in the beginning, maybe your 12-year-old isn't aware of, you know, but all of the time you invest in this game, and at the end you
People don't go to a concert or go to a movie and at the end of it go, geez, I wish I got paid for this.
Well,
Right?
it
It's
might happen.
entertainment. It's entertainment. You go because you want to be entertained for an hour. That's why people play games.
entertainment
Or
is
the
important, but this is the transmission of that's the whole kind of like thing about Web3 is you can transmit value.
Exactly.
Right? Like so.
But this is what I think people don't care, because the value that they received from the game was the enjoyment and the fun. That was the transaction. I spend money on the game, I get fun in return. And that's enough. And it's been enough for decades now.
What if you get fun and money?
But if you
as well?
play Call of Duty or Fortnite,
think
all
they
of
care.
these games, you still have fun, right? All of the Web 2 games, you still have fun.
Yeah, of course.
But now with the Web 3, if you can own also your own assets that you're spending tons of money all the time on, and later on you can switch and you can transfer that ownership to someone else, not only in gaming, and in anything. Why is fashion getting so big in Metaverse, right? Why company getting in? Because now we have ownership. Now you can own one piece out of one piece, like made. So I think it will be more and more, but it's like Megan said, I have to agree with Megan, is one of the biggest things in Web3 is the ownership, regardless if it's whatever sector it is.
Yeah, and we can distinguish between Metaverse and Web3, but in the end, they're all intertwined, in my opinion. And I respect your thoughts as a gamer, because I know there's a lot of resistance from the gaming community. I understand that. But I do think it's an added value that we can't discount, and that many people might feel differently about it as we go.
The only people who feel differently about it are crypto people who are desperate to find a problem for their solution.
Okay,
Literally.
right, I'm going to wrap this up. And
This is a great conversation.
it's like
though,
crypto
yeah.
people do care, maybe gaming people don't care, but we're talking now about the fact that we have no idea where this is going, except that human psychology does not change, and it's not going to change in the metaverse. If you want something, especially sports related or something, or music or anything like that, I want that to pass on. You know. So anyway.
So you just want to stir up drama. That's what you came
I
here
did.
for.
I came to light the
came up here and
conversation.
stirred up
Mission
drama.
accomplished.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
great.
exactly.
Life
This
is
great.
drama.
Thank you for a lively
Okay,
conversation.
this is fantastic. Thank you very much.